I needed to find my voice. I needed to find my purpose. I needed to find my calling. I needed to find my power. I needed to find my space on the universe, to know that I have space here and there is a spot that only me can occupy. Marriage was not going to give me that. I had to find that for myself. I had to know that I can create boundaries. I had to know that I was worthy, I was enough, and I brought all to the table. So anyone coming to dine with me is just a topping on the cake. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zita, and if this is your first time, welcome. And if you are already part of the family, it's so good to have you again. I'm so excited doing this video. And as you can see from the title, how to prepare for marriage, how to be a wife before you become a wife. A lot of the times people think that you get married before you become a wife, which is not true, because the Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So marriage does not make you a wife. You become a wife before you get married. So how did I prepare to be a wife? How did I prepare for my husband? Which is what I'm going to share with you today. If you are a fiancé, if you are single and preparing for marriage, or you are just a wife already, this video is for you. It's for my sisters, it's for my ladies, it's for everyone. So stick to the end, because I'm going to be sharing with you everything. The first thing is backstory. I did not marry a virgin, so I was always dating. But then when I wanted to be a wife, I stopped everything. So the first thing is I had to be single. I tell people every time, people who are entangled don't get husbands or wives. So you have to be single. I had to cut out every relationship and be single. I had to be single. Be single, guys, because I see people, they're in all sort of relationships that they even know it's leading them to nowhere, but yet they are there and then waiting for a spouse, which is not the case. So the first thing I did is I separated myself from every relationship. I was single. So to be waiting, I kept my body, I kept my mind, I kept my heart for my husband. So the first thing is be single. The second thing I had to do was to prepare myself mentally. Yes, you don't do that in marriage. I had to have the mindset of a wife. Who is a wife? How does a wife think? What does a wife do? I'm not a single person. I had to prepare my mind for another person. I had to create space for another person who was my husband. So it was not just I cut out and then I just sat and I was looking at places. No, I had to prepare myself mentally. Another thing is I had to prepare my heart. Yes, you know what? People want to get married, and in marriage, you are bringing someone into your world. So I had to prepare my heart. I had to keep space for my heart, because there are some people whom you are preparing for marriage, but you have space for all your exes, you have space for every other thing. And when people come your way, you are busy. The space is occupied. You know, someone made an analogy like, you know, when you get into a parking lot and you see, or you get into the hospital or a restaurant and you see reserved, you don't even go there because you know the seat has been occupied. And that's the same thing with some of us singles, because people come and then they see reserved in your life. It feels like there's already, the space is occupied, the space is not for them. So I had to prepare my heart to receive my husband. I had to cut out from things or let go of relationship, past relationships that no longer serve me, and really create space for my husband. Another thing is I understood that my relationship with God comes first. So I had to focus on my relationship with God. Let me tell you this. A lot of the times we are with God till someone walks into our lives. We become so busy because we have to go on dates, we have to do this, my husband, my boyfriend, my fiancé, that we no longer have time for God. I had to create time. I had to work on my relationship with God. I had to know that God comes first. I had to give myself, my body, my mind, my spirit to God first. And to be able to know that even in marriage, God is always going to come first. So I had to work on my relationship with God. I had to put God first. I had to create time to read the Bible. I had to create time to pray. I had to create time for a one-on-one relationship with God. Another thing is I had to behold. This is so crucial. This is so important because people think that if you are lonely, you run into marriage, then there will be no loneliness. If you lack something, you are running into marriage to go get it. Sorry, there are some people in marriages that are lonely. There are some people are in relationships that still feel unworthy, still feel unwanted. I wasn't going to get something from a relationship. I didn't need someone to give me something. I had to get everything and then find someone to share with. So I had to be whole. I had to start loving myself more because, by the way, if you don't love yourself, how do you expect someone to come and love you? I had to take care of myself because the way you take care of yourself reflects and it's going to show the person that is walking into your life how to even take care of you. It shows that you love yourself enough to take care of yourself, to give yourself the things that another person is even coming to give you. Because, by the way, to me, I had this mindset of who a husband is supposed to be. I knew there was this special love for a husband. So I had to get to the place where I had that love. I had to fill my heart with so much love that I had enough to give to another person. It wasn't me going out looking for love. Anything that comes in marriage is a bonus. You are supposed to endow all of that, and I had to do that. Like I said on the start of this video, I used to date. I used to move from one relationship to other, and I was seeking for things. I thought I had to be with someone to feel a certain kind of way. I had daddy issues. I had all of these things, and I kept thinking that I would find them in other people. But then when I come to the realization that I needed to have all of those, I had to take out that time to find myself, to find my voice, to start living life the way I wanted, to start living life the right way, unattached, whole. I needed to find my voice. I needed to find my purpose. I needed to find my calling. I needed to find my power. I needed to find my space on the universe, to know that I have space here and there is a spot that only me can occupy. Marriage was not going to give me that. I had to find that for myself. I had to know that I can create boundaries. I had to know that I was worthy, I was enough, and I brought all to the table. So anyone coming to dine with me is just a topping on the cake. So you have to find yourself. You have to be whole. I couldn't get into a relationship trying to feel wanted or to not be lonely or all of these things that I hear people going out seeking for. I had to make sure that I was whole. Another thing is I had to forgive myself. I had lived life in the past, I had done things, and I had to forgive myself. I had to sit down and do a recollection. Zita, you did this, you did that, but that's in the past. Let it go. Forgive yourself. And because I forgave myself, I made room to be able to forgive another person. I knew what forgiveness was. So I also know that whoever I'm getting married to is not perfect. It's not the same. And then another thing is I had to heal. I had to heal from past hurts, past traumas. And I think I've said that in one of my videos, heal. Because if you don't heal, you are going to bleed on other people. You know, we have been hurt in the past. We have family traumas, not only from past relationships, not just from boyfriends or whatever. We have even family relationships, traumas that we are dealing with. I had to heal. I had to find my power. I could not allow the things that had happened to me in the past or how I was being treated in the past to affect my present or my future. I had to let go even from the hurt, the trauma, and everything that happened to me. I had to really heal so that I come into the relationship without baggages. And I know healing is not a one-day thing, but try to heal, confront those things. And sometimes we keep running away from ourselves. I knew that I cannot be in another person's life and really help the person. As the Bible says, we are helpmates. I cannot help another person if I could not help myself. So I had to take out the time. I had to slow down to heal and help myself, cut out some of those things that were still holding me back. Another thing that I did was I had to develop myself. I had to find myself. Like I said, I had to empower myself. You are coming in to be a helpmate to someone. How are you going to help someone when you have nothing to bring on the table? And this is not about money. This is not about anything. It's just about you finding something that you do that fulfills purpose, finding something that you hold, find something that you can stand for. That was something that I did not have. I was just living life. Like I said in one of my videos, if you stand for nothing, you are going to fall for everything. I had to do all of that before even getting into marriage, because I don't want to be a liability. I don't want to be a burden to my husband. I don't want to be a burden to another person. The first question I asked myself was like, who is a wife? What does a wife do? How does a wife behave? Which also brings me to my character and habits. I had to develop character and habits of a wife. Some of us want to get married, but then we are holding on to those old habits. You used to drink and party every weekend, and then now you want to get married. Are you going to be doing that in your marriage? I had to work on those habits. You know, if you have addictions, you have to confront them. You are preparing yourself to just not be a wife, but to be a mother someday. You know, to take on the role of leadership, because every wife is a leader. You are leading a home. So I had to work on certain characters. I used to talk like, I used to have a sharp mouth. I had to work on it. I had to sit down and really like scan through and be like, what can you work on? What do I have to do? And that is it. You cannot hold on to old habits when you are single and expect to carry them into marriage. And then you say your husband has to accept you for who you are. There is no such thing as this is how I am. If it's not serving you, let it go. So I had to confront those habits that I knew could not serve me in marriage. I had to confront them when I was single, not in marriage. I said something that the wedding night is not a miracle. So you don't hold on to those things and expect that when you now get into marriage, they are suddenly going to disappear. No, you work on them before you get married. Housekeeping or homemaking, all of those things, I had to start working on them. I had to start owning my voice, creating boundaries. Like I said, these are so important. You don't get into it before you start working on them. So I had to take out the time to work on habits and character flaws that I used to know, because sometimes we know those things that are not working, they are not good, but we are like, you should take me like that. That's how I am. So what should I do? I've always been like this. No, you have always been like that and you know it's not working. Let it go. Keep it at the back door and move forward. So I had to do all of that. One thing I want to say is, when it comes to marriage, there's expectations that you have for yourself are the expectations that you should expect in a marriage or from your partner. So I had to set realistic expectations for myself, because if I cannot do it to me, how then do I expect someone to do it to me? If I cannot do it to some other person, how then do I expect my husband to do it to me, to do it to my family? Some of us cannot even take care of ourselves, like I said previously. We cannot take care of ourselves, but then we do anyhow and expect that when we get married, our husband is going to do all of those things to us. No, I had to change my mindset about marriage. I had to really get down into details and ask myself, what was marriage all about? What are my intentions about marriage? You know, I was going in as a leader. You cannot get into marriage without knowing what marriage is all about. And sometimes it will need you to read books. It will need you to empower yourself. You know, the Bible says seek knowledge, seek understanding, and above all, seek wisdom. Because maybe you are going to be a voice in that family. You are going into a family that maybe has issues. And that's why God is sending you into that family. And you cannot go there unarmed. Find out, read books, attend seminars, empower yourself. I had to do that because I might be a voice to my husband. I have to back him physically, spiritually, emotionally. And I cannot do that if I am weak, which leads me to another form of preparation, which is spiritual preparation. Marriage is a spiritual institution. Being a wife is a spiritual role. You are taking care of a man spiritually, emotionally, physically. You cannot do it when you are spiritually weak. You have to prepare yourself spiritually. And I had to do that. I had to take out time to pray for my husband even before I got married. I remember having a conversation with my mom one time and I'm like, who is this lucky man I'm going to marry? You know, because I will sit down and I will pray for my husband. These are habits that you nurture even when you are single. Marriage is an institution that is attacked a lot of the times. It's so beautiful, but then it's challenging, and you need to be spiritually, physically, and emotionally fit. I'm welcoming a man in. I had to prepare my body. Physically, I have to be fit. I had to start taking care of myself, be mindful of how I look. I used to be very scattered. I'm still working on it. I don't know if I am perfect yet, but I had to take care of my body. I had to start being mindful of how I look, how I smell, take care, groom my hair, shave, and all of those things. I had to take care of my body because it was not just going to be my body anymore. I'm going to share it with someone, so I had to take care of my body. And I can go on and on and on with this thing, but all I'm trying to say is you don't become a wife when you get married. You become a wife before you get married. And so you must prepare yourself, your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit. You have to be whole. I had to find confidence in myself. I don't need someone to come and make me feel confident. I don't need someone to give me a voice. I had to make sure that I was comfortable in my brilliance. I was comfortable in my light. I was comfortable taking the leadership role. I had to find knowledge. I had to seek knowledge. I had to seek understanding. I had to seek wisdom. Miles Moron says, if a nobody marries another nobody, then nobody got married. So who was I as a person? Who am I? Or who was I? Because that was back then. I had to find out who I was as a person, what I bring to the table, what I like, what I dislike, what I wanted to do. You are not ready to get married if you cannot deal with yourself. A lot of people are rushing in marriages because they cannot deal with themselves. You cannot be single. And that's what I said. I had to cut out from every relationship and got comfortable being single. I had to find myself, love myself, be okay being with myself. Because marriage does not take loneliness. I've said that before and I'm saying again. If you cannot be with yourself, then being with somebody will not still help you. So I had to find myself. I had to find me before finding anyone, which is what I always say. Find yourself before you find a spouse. I hope this video helps you. And I'll be waiting to hear from you. Let me know on the comment section and see you on my next video.